6 months ago, I started paying $99 a month for Tesla's full self-driving subscription. I wanted to see if it was actually worth the money, or if it was just an expensive party trick. Here's the thing, I've now spent almost $600 on this feature, and I have some very specific thoughts about whether that money was well spent. If you're thinking about subscribing to FSD, or you're wondering what you actually get for $99 a month, I'm going to walk you through my real experience over the past 6 months. The good, the bad, and whether I'm going to keep paying for it. Let me start by explaining what you actually get when you pay for full self-driving. The name is misleading because it's not actually full self-driving. You still have to keep your hands on the wheel and pay attention to the road. Tesla calls it supervised full self-driving, which means the car can drive itself, but you're responsible for intervening if something goes wrong. What you get is the car handling city streets, stopping at stop signs and red lights, making turns, changing lanes on the highway, navigating highway interchanges, and even parking itself. It's significantly more capable than basic Autopilot, which only does highway lane keeping and adaptive cruise control. With FSD, the car is making decisions. It's choosing when to change lanes, when to pass slower cars, and how to navigate intersections. In theory, you can get in, tell it where to go, and it handles the driving. In practice, it's more complicated than that. Let me talk about highway driving first, because this is where FSD works best. On the highway, full self-driving is impressive. It changes lanes to pass slower traffic. It takes highway exits and merges onto new highways. It adjusts speed based on the flow of traffic. On a recent road trip from my house to Denver, which is about 600 miles, the car did probably 85 to 90% of the driving. I had to intervene maybe 4 or 5 times over the entire trip, usually when the car hesitated about changing lanes or when it got confused at a complicated interchange. For long highway drives, FSD genuinely reduces fatigue. I arrived in Denver feeling way less tired than I normally would after 10 hours of driving. If you do a lot of highway road trips, this feature alone might justify the $99 a month. Now, let's talk about city driving, because this is where things get interesting. Full self-driving on city streets is both amazing and frustrating. When it works, it feels like the future. The car stops at red lights, waits for green, makes left turns across traffic, and navigates through neighborhoods. I've had it handle complex intersections perfectly, waiting for the right gap in traffic and executing smooth turns. But when it doesn't work, it's nerve-wracking. I've had the car slam on the brakes for no reason. I've had it hesitate at green lights long enough that cars behind me started honking. I've had it try to change lanes into a spot that was way too tight. The problem with city driving is that you can never fully relax. You're constantly monitoring what the car is doing, ready to take over at any moment. On the highway, I can go 20 or 30 minutes without touching anything. In the city, I'm intervening every few minutes. Let me give you some specific examples of where FSD struggles. Unprotected left turns are hit or miss. Sometimes the car waits for the perfect gap and executes the turn smoothly. Other times it sits there while multiple safe gaps go by, and I end up taking over because I'm holding up traffic. Construction zones are another problem. If there are cones narrowing the lanes or workers directing traffic, FSD gets confused. I've learned to just take over as soon as I see construction ahead. Parking lots are surprisingly difficult for the system. The car can find a parking spot and park itself, but navigating through a busy parking lot with pedestrians and cars backing out is chaotic. I don't trust it in that environment. Roundabouts are inconsistent. Sometimes it handles them fine, sometimes it approaches way too aggressively, or way too cautiously. Here's what I've learned about when FSD is worth using and when it's not. For highway driving, especially long trips, I use it constantly. It's excellent and makes driving less tiring. For city driving during the day in normal conditions, I use it maybe 60% of the time. It's helpful but requires constant supervision. For city driving at night, in rain, or in heavy traffic, I often just drive myself. The stress of monitoring the car isn't worth it in those conditions. For parking lots, I never use it. For construction zones, I never use it. Your mileage may vary, but that's been my experience over 6 months. Now, let's talk about the cost and whether it's worth $99 a month. Over 6 months, I've paid $594 for this feature. If I keep it for a year, that's $1,188. Over 5 years, that's almost $6,000. Here's how I think about whether that's worth it. I drive about 15,000 miles a year. About 8,000 of those miles are highway driving for road trips and longer commutes. FSD makes those 8,000 miles significantly more comfortable and less tiring. The other 7,000 miles are local city driving, where FSD is helpful, but not essential. If I value my comfort and reduced fatigue on those highway miles, is that worth $100 a month? For me, the answer has been yes so far, but it's close. If the price goes up to $150 or $200 a month like Elon has suggested it might, I'd probably cancel. Here's another way to think about the cost. Tesla used to let you buy FSD outright for around $12,000. At $99 a month, you'd have to subscribe for about 10 years to spend that much. But here's the catch. When you subscribe, you never own it. If you sell your car, you get nothing back. If you cancel the subscription, it's gone. With the one-time purchase, at least it stayed with the car and potentially added some resale value. The subscription model is better if you're not sure you want FSD long-term, or if you only want it for certain seasons. For example, if you only take road trips in the summer, you could subscribe for 3 or 4 months a year and cancel the rest of the time. That would cost you $300 to $400 a year instead of $1,200. That's actually a smart way to use the subscription if you're strategic about it. Let me talk about who should subscribe to FSD and who should skip it. You should subscribe if you do a lot of highway driving and you want to reduce fatigue on long trips. You should subscribe if you're curious about the technology and you want to experience what autonomous driving feels like, even in its current supervised form. You should subscribe if you have disposable income and $99 a month isn't a significant expense for you. You should subscribe if you're willing to actively supervise the system and intervene when needed. This is not a hands-off feature, and you need to be comfortable with that responsibility. You should skip FSD if your driving is mostly short local trips where the feature doesn't add much value. You should skip it if $99 a month feels like a stretch in your budget. There are better ways to spend that money. You should skip it if you get frustrated easily, because FSD will make mistakes and you need patience to deal with them. You should skip it if you're expecting true self-driving, where you can read a book or take a nap. That's not what this is, and it won't be for a while. And honestly, you should skip it if you're perfectly happy driving yourself. Basic Autopilot, which used to be free and now isn't on new cars, was good enough for most people's highway needs. If you already have a Tesla with Basic Autopilot, you might not need to upgrade. After 6 months, here's my verdict. I'm keeping the subscription for now, but I'm reevaluating every few months. The highway performance alone has been worth it for me because I take several long road trips a year. If I didn't do those trips, I'd probably cancel. The city driving features are cool, but not essential. I could live without them. The biggest factor for me is whether the price stays at $99. If it goes up significantly, I'll cancel and just drive myself. At $150 or $200 a month, the value proposition falls apart for me unless the system gets dramatically better or goes fully unsupervised. One more thing to consider. Tesla keeps improving FSD with over-the-air updates. The system I'm using today is noticeably better than what I started with 6 months ago. It's smoother, it makes better decisions, and it hesitates less. If that trend continues, the subscription becomes more valuable over time. So, is Tesla FSD worth $99 a month? For me, right now, yes. But it's not a slam dunk. It's a luxury feature that makes certain aspects of driving easier and more enjoyable. But it's not essential. If you're on the fence, my advice is to try it for 1 month and see how much you actually use it. If you find yourself using it daily and it's making your life easier, keep it. If you forget it's even there or you're constantly frustrated with it, cancel and save your money. At $99 a month, you can always come back later if you change your mind. What's your experience with FSD? Are you paying for it? Is it worth it to you? Let me know in the comments. And if this helped you decide whether to subscribe, hit that subscribe button for more honest Tesla content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.